Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Scott Cope, and I'm the Director of Commercial Sales at Enterprise Bank and Trust. I serve on the Olathe Chamber's Board Executive Committee, and it's my honor to moderate today's forum. On behalf of the Johnson County Public Policy Council, a collaboration of all 10 area chambers of commerce, and particularly on behalf of today's co-host, the Olathe and Lenexa Chambers of Commerce, thank you for attending our candidate event featuring House Districts 49 and Johnson County Commission District 5. I would like to begin by sharing the format of our forums this afternoon, which will include 3-minute opening statements by the candidates, a moderated question and answer period during which candidates will have 1.5 minutes to respond, followed by an end 2-minute closing statement. The format, questions, and time limits will be the same for every candidate, and due to time constraints, there will be no follow-up questions, formal rebuttal time, or audience participation. Where applicable, candidate speaking order has been randomly determined with the candidates and will rotate throughout the program. Questions have been prepared in advance by chamber staff based on member input and have not been shared with the candidates. We will begin today with House District 49, and at the conclusion of that forum, we'll take a short intermission before beginning the forum for County Commission District 5. Now, if everyone will please take a moment to make sure cell phones are silenced. Let's begin. I'll first introduce our participating candidate for House District 49. This district includes portions of Northeast Olathe. Megan Lynn. Republican candidate Megan Lynn previously worked as a development biologist and currently serves as a children's ministry assistant at Olathe College Church of the Nazarene. She and her husband have 3 children and live in Olathe. Darnell Hunt. Democratic candidate Darnell Hunt was invited to participate in today's event but was unable to attend. Now we will start with an opening statement by our candidate.
Thank you, and I want to thank everyone for allowing me to speak today. My name is Megan Lynn, and I'm running again for House District 49, which is in eastern Olathe. I grew up on a small family farm, and that really shaped my outlook on life, and it taught me family values that I want to bring to this campaign. I have a bachelor's degree in biology and political science from Muskingum University, and I have a master's degree in biology with a specialization in microbiology that I received from Bowling Green State University. Following graduation, I moved to Olathe, which was in 2001, and I knew that this was the place where I wanted to build my family. I worked in the developmental biology lab for approximately 8 years. I studied Treacher-Collins syndrome. If anyone has seen the movie Wonder, that's what the little boy had. It was a huge blessing and an honor to be able to participate in research regarding Treacher-Collins syndrome, and I'm excited by what the lab continues to do to this day. I decided after having my 3rd child to stay home, and so I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 8 years, and I am excited now to begin this new chapter. So I have a few things that I'm focused on. One of them is mental health. Today is actually World Mental Health Day, and I think it is something that affects us all, whether individually or as a family or a neighbor or friend, and I think it's something that we really need to address. One of the other things is the foster care system. We really need to protect our children who are in the foster care system and make sure that they have the resources needed to adjust into life as adults. And then additionally, I would like to make sure we can reduce the tax burden on our senior citizens as well as our families. I want to be a representative who's going to have dialogue and who's going to respect others and who's going to listen to both sides of an issue. And I just want to be able to understand the people of District 49 so that I can be a good representative for them.
Candidate will now start the moderated question and answer period. As a reminder, there are 6 questions, and you will have 1.5 minutes to respond. Question number 1. What are your views on state tax policy?
You know, our economy is improving, and I think this is great news for all of us. To build on that improvement, we need to make sure that our families can make ends meet, and we also need to make sure that businesses can compete. Our neighbors are struggling with high sales tax on food, and we need to address that, and we also need to address the ever-increasing property taxes. So we need policy that is both family-friendly as well as business-friendly, and we need a system that's predictable and fair and reliable. I want to work with both the city and the chamber to find tax policy that's going to help our seniors as well as our families and businesses. I'm also really encouraged by the recent renewal of NAFTA, which I think is going to benefit Kansas in both the agricultural and aviation industries.
Question number 2. With record low unemployment rates challenging businesses' ability to find enough employees, what would you do to grow and develop the state's workforce?
You know, to develop a strong state workforce, we need to maintain the high quality of life that we have here in Olathe and in Johnson County, as well as around the state. We can do this by keeping our public schools well-funded. Our schools offer children amazing education through the 21st Century programs that my son is actually starting to look into right now. It gives the children the opportunity to discover their passions before ever spending a dime in higher education, which really helps us as parents. We also have very effective VOTEC programs that allow for entry-level certification for students so they can earn it while in high school without, again, spending a dime of their parents' money. We need to encourage individual initiative. We need to encourage these children to pursue their talent and their passions, and we need to develop curriculum that will take these students into the workforce if they choose to go that route. In addition, the growing population of Johnson County and Olathe is going to attract businesses. We're located on an important trade route through the country. However, we also want to make sure that our rural Kansas communities are also attractive to businesses, and so that those small towns can continue to thrive.
Question number 3. Topeka as a whole appears poised to refocus on the state's infrastructure. What would your priorities be in any new statewide transportation plan?
You know, Johnson County has incredible roads and highways, and we thrive when we have sound infrastructure. As someone who used to commute daily to the Plaza area, I always could tell when I hit the state line. Kansas has great roads. We need to prioritize those projects, and we need to listen to the infrastructure task force to really find out where these needs are. We need to make wise decisions to determine which projects are really justified, or if they're projects that maybe we can push back till later. We really need to focus on where these needs are. One of the things that I would like to see worked on is the K-10 expansion. But regardless of what we choose, we need to make sure that these projects are well planned, because that's going to serve Kansas best. And I'm going to be open to the suggestions of the task force.
Question number 4. What are your views on funding K through 12 education?
You know, funding our education system is of the utmost importance. We all agree that our children should have a high-quality education. My 3 kids are all in the Olathe public schools, and even one of them is in special ed. He's a gifted student, so he receives extra training as well. So I'm very invested in the success of our schools. We need to make sure that our teachers are paid well. We also need to make sure that people like the counselors, social workers, resources, and our specials, all of them, our paras, all of them need to have a good quality salary as well. We need to make sure we bring these lawsuits to an end, because we need to have schools that have consistent and predictable funding. We need to hold local school boards accountable for how money is spent, and yet allow them to maintain their local control. I know Johnson County uses the local option budget, but a lot of school districts don't. And Johnson County can't afford to continually pick up the bill for all of those districts who don't use their local option budgets. Good quality schools are going to attract businesses. And so having finality and some stability in the budget process will hopefully allow us to have that continued excellence in education.
Question number 5 has 2 parts. First, describe what you see as the Kansas advantage when it comes to economic development and tourism, and the types of economic development policies you would support to encourage job growth and business expansion in Kansas.
You know, Olathe and Johnson County have an incredible quality of life. I was raised elsewhere, so I think I can see things that a lot of people who might have been raised here don't see. You know, my first thought when I arrived in Olathe was like, wow, this place is incredible. It's well thought out. It's planned. It's beautiful. There's brick buildings everywhere. And I come from the Rust Belt. It's not like that at all. We have amazing roads. Our parks and recreation is incredible. We make use of the programs that they have at the library, and we are involved in the sports that they offer. We have amazing public schools, incredible universities nearby, and it's very family friendly. And that's something that really drew me to this location when I moved, and I thought this is definitely where I wanted to be. You know, my brother-in-law comes yearly just to play golf out here. And all of the soccer fields, including the new one that we have now at Ridgeview, to even smelling barbecue on every corner. That's not available everywhere in the country. And we have a quality of life that just a lot of places don't have. Our location in the center of the U.S. is also perfect to be a hub for sports and entertainment. And in addition to that, we have multiple options for healthcare, including an amazing children's hospital that all three of my kids have been at one point in their lives already. We really need to foster stable economic development to plan for their future, and this will encourage growth for our children's generation.
Question number 6. What is the most important thing that distinguishes you from your opponent in this race?
Well, I am a no-nonsense mom of 3. I'm also a wife. I'm science-minded. I'm a critical thinker. I am a Republican who does lean conservative, but I want solutions, I will work hard, and I want results. I will respond to constituents' emails. I think that's really important. And I'm going to listen to each side with respect. I am a typical Johnson County soccer mom, and so I think I'm going to be able to represent District 49 because I am District 49.
Okay, that wraps up our question period. Now we'll move on to our closing statement by the candidate. As a reminder, you have 2 minutes to present your closing statement.
Well, as I said before, I chose to live in Olathe. I chose Olathe. And I knew that this town was for me because it felt like home. It wasn't because it really reminded me of my home. It's very different, actually, from where I grew up. But it's a town full of beautiful people, incredible, friendly people. And I am a mom who's actually just ready to run an efficient government, much like I'd run my household. You know, people these days just want to be heard. In my walking in August, I met a couple who wasn't on my walk list, but they were out in their yard doing yard work, and I stopped to talk to them. And they told me flat out, well, we're not going to vote for you, you're Republican. And I said, that's okay, but let's talk. And they talked to me for about 10 minutes about the problems that they see and the concerns and the fears they have. And let me tell you, those fears and concerns are not partisan. They were issues that we all face. And I wanted to make sure that they knew that if I am their representative, that I will listen to them, and I'm going to represent them well. I want to do this with integrity, respect, honesty, and transparency. I really want to be a positive voice in the midst of all the bickering that seems to dominate the headlines and crowds out those who just really want to get something done. I once heard that to be a leader, you must first be a servant. And honestly, I would like to just serve District 49 and the state of Kansas. So again, I wanted to thank you for your time. And if you have any more questions, you can reach me at meganlynnforkansas@gmail.com. Thank you.
That concludes our forum for House District 49. Let's thank our candidate for participating in today's program. We'll now take a short intermission before reconvening for our final forum featuring Johnson County Commission District 5.